ask brands, is this recyclable? What do I do with it? Where did this product come from? Is this tested on animals? So really, really get interested and take an active role and understand the brands that you're buying. People actually mistakenly thought it had meant the Body Shop had sold out on their values, particularly around, cruelty-free products.
Hi, Sara. Thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. So lovely to see your face.
Oh my God. How could I say no? You're one of my favorite people. So,
thank you so much. So I'm just going to do a tiny little bit intro just to let people know, on your profile, because you're a woman of many talents and, you are a change maker. You're global chief purpose to sustainability advisor for Marie Claire. You're an activist and you have your own podcast as well, Start Somewhere. So we can talk about that later. But I just want to let people know our story. As far as I remember, when I first met you, you were like this fierce woman walking in, with William Temper's show, right? It was at London Fashion Week.
Where it was. Because I was like, oh my God, she's been in my life forever. I can't remember a life before you. And I was like, where did we meet? Of course, it was William Temper's show. Exactly.
Yes. And I don't know if that was 15, 16 years ago. And me and William were doing a collaboration.
We were 12
Body
at the
Shop.
time. We were 12. We were underage.
And I remember, yes. So we, you were at Body Shop and Body Shop decided to sponsor William's show. And lucky for me, he was like, I really only want my makeup artist. And I said, William, if Body Shop have their own makeup artist, which you did, and I love him, Chase, I told him that he should go for the makeup artist because it's a sponsored thing and he'd be silly not to take the sponsorship. And he said, well, I'm still going to fight for you and I'm not going to take any money unless they take you. And that was lovely for me. And so that was my introduction to you. So tell me about your role in Body Shop and your love for makeup or, your inside knowledge of that area.
Wow. So big question, and yes, now it all comes back vividly. What we were doing. So when I was at the Body Shop, I headed up all the kind of external communications for the Body Shop globally, and really my job was to put the Body Shop back on the map. This was a time when L'Oreal had bought the Body Shop, and there had been a bit of a backlash, and because people actually mistakenly thought it had meant the Body Shop had sold out on their values, particularly around, cruelty-free products. And that wasn't the case at all. And I guess my job was to kind of really take the Body Shop back to its roots, really reaffirm its values, and then really take it forward into to doing kind of amazing activist things. So for me, it was really my kind of first job where I was really allowed to be a brand activist. And if you remember, we did the huge campaigns around stopping animal testing, of which you were an integral part. We also did the very big rebrand of the Body Shop around Beauty with Heart, which was just amazing, which you were also a huge part of. And we had Lily Cole as the face of it. And it was really about making it relevant. And then we also did the thing that I was most proud of, which and still am today, which was the Stop Sex Trafficking of Children and Young People campaign. And we actually changed legislation in 24 countries around trafficking as a result of that. But what I wanted to do was kind of like before we really could create big change in the brands, is really reaffirm kind of the Body Shop's credentials. And particularly as a brand that was cruelty-free, but also fashionable. And the makeup collection, it was brilliant, but kind of people had forgotten about it. And, that's where it was, when I met you at William's show, we were sponsoring William's show because we wanted to become more relevant. And then it was just like, but up, like, wow, what an opportunity. And you were passionate about sustainability, around cruelty-free. I mean, all your values were the same, and there you were doing all these amazing shows and kind of, you know, taking over the whole of kind of Vauxhall Fashion Scout, you know, with your entire team. And I mean, I still don't know how you did it. I mean, you would do like 30 shows back to back effortlessly, you know, with very different looks, and it was just like a meeting of hearts and minds. And I was like, we need to work together. And, you know, and so we did. And, you know, that was just so exciting to kind of have your, you know, your catwalk eyes, you know, on the Body Shop makeup. And then we got really involved in Vauxhall Fashion Scout, and we became kind of the official makeup partner. And then, you know, we also created limited edition kind of makeup ranges with Lily Cole, and also with London College of Fashion, which is where kind of, you know, the William connection had come from. So I mean, these were really exciting times, and it was just so amazing because there was so much goodwill, and because the products were so extraordinary, and also really value led, and I, you know, I'm a great believer in like, you know, what products you choose. You know, you really need to choose products around your values. You know, each of us have a different kind of purpose or values which are different, but, you know, just, you know, their products are sensational and also not expensive as well, you know, which is important, and they're very accessible. And, you know, it was just such a wonderful privilege.
No, yeah. It was a privilege for you, but it was also a privilege for me, for you to bring me in, because I learned so much. Not only, you know, in your head, like Body Shop was one of the products that I first turned to for the concealer, you know, there's Body Shop and Rimmel. And at the time, and the eyeliner, the liquid liner, like I just swore by it. And I just remember, you know, looking at all the products and going, it can be creative, you know, it doesn't matter, even though it's all natural. And the fact is, Body Shop never retouches the pictures, you know. So for me, that was like an eye opener, you know.
I mean, exactly, you know, and that's why we needed someone of your brilliance to work with as well. And you know, that was so important because, like, I mean, that's a tall order for a lot of people. Like there was no retouch. I mean, like what you saw was what you got, and you know, proudly so. You know, Body Shop was really kind of, you know, the first and only brand to do that. And having worked with other brands in the past, I mean, I saw people kind of stretched, thin, bronzed, you know. I mean, it's just extraordinary. And yes, so we needed someone of your amazingness to actually be able to kind of pull the looks off.
It was just really refreshing, you know, to not have, you know, what you see is what you get. And, you know, and it really challenged me because no matter what the model had, you know, I had to make sure that when you looked on the camera, it was flawless. And, you know, I just loved that because I knew when I saw it on the window, you know, that's not retouched. That's not retouched.
Well, exactly. And I mean, you know, I think, you know, these weren't kind of, you know, because the Body Shop, you know, didn't advertise at that time, but you know, these were posters that were blown up into huge window sizes. I mean, you know, imagine that. It's to be flawless. I mean, you could see every pore, everything, you know, just like no pressure.
I mean, like you were brilliant in just bringing makeup to the forefront as well. And I was just so thankful for you letting me go on that journey with you. And, you know, you used to get me into doing all your events as well. And
yeah,
you know,
I couldn't do an event without you. And, you know, I was thinking about kind of the importance of you and makeup in my life. You know, I mean, we always giggle about this because I'm not I'm quite a kind of low maintenance makeup user, but the thing is that I have you in my life, so you know, maybe I've become a lazy one as well, you know, but you've been there like through extraordinary kind of situations for me, like, you know, monumental kind of like brand launches and pivots, like, you know, the Body Shop Beauty with Heart. I mean, that was just such an important moment for that brand because it was really kind of make or break. And you know, my head was, you know, clearly on the block if it went well, or really like if it went badly, I really was probably out the door. So, you know, just your just calming presence where, you know, I would be, I mean, I did, God knows how you might ever manage to do my makeup and stuff, you know, where I was, you know, like glued to 2 phones and kind of had people kind of running up to me, but you just I think and so many of those events I was so tired. I mean, I wouldn't have slept for kind of almost days getting things ready. And you made me feel, and the makeup made me feel calm. It made me feel confident, and it enabled me to get up and stand and speak in front of hundreds of people.
I mean, you lot just put me right in it, to be honest. Like, I remember walking into the hallway and seeing, was it 2,000, 4,000 people?
Something like
or
that.
Something or more. Yeah, or maybe
Yes.
6 even. I think one of the guys was like, yeah, it's okay. It's only 6,000. I was like, I remember just going, how do I do this? And I remember your guys just telling me, Lan, just talk about what you know and just laugh, don't be scared. And, and I absolutely love the people as well. And then from that, what was your relationship with makeup on a personal level? I remember you going to America and coming back and showing me something new, which you'd never done before. So I was just wondering, like,
well, I think it inspired me to explore a bit, because I mean, I think that
it was a tinted moisturizer, by the way.
And I think I was always very keen on skincare as well. And I think that, for me, although I am covered in spots at the moment, but good skincare is so important. And for me, that is just such the kind of basis of everything. And I think I didn't really know what to do with makeup, and I think I was, I grew up, in a very outdoorsy kind of sporty sort of environment, and I think that you actually helped me because you really understand skincare and good skin, and like so much of what you do is around skincare into makeup, and that's so kind of fundamental. And I think you gave me the confidence to kind of explore, and it was something I was always fascinated by. And I love color, and I love, I mean, it's amazing makeup. It's got this extraordinary ability to kind of transform, but also to intrigue, and it's amazing. And I think you gave me the confidence, if you like, to start kind of experimenting a little bit, and actually, really following my curiosity. And I also think, that at that time, a lot of makeup was still sold over counter, and it was a bit intimidating. And I think that you gave me the ability to kind of move past the rather scary kind of makeup ladies at the counter and actually just kind of dive in. And I think that's what's brilliant at the moment about makeup, is it's just more accessible, and you can really have a play and you can be more experimental, without the kind of, the woman at the makeup counter going, well, that really isn't the right color for you. And fab, and I think, I'd suffered, from going into various department stores for years, and they'd say, well, that's not the right color foundation for you or whatever. And I would be like, well, it is actually. Yeah. And I think you just kind of blew that apart. And that was so cool.
I mean, when, we talk about you, the way I see is you're a woman in a powerful position, woman in power. So, what do you see around you? Like when you're sitting at the table, do you feel like you get judged on your makeup? Is there, I know you love just simple makeup anyway, but is it important to you to have it on you for when you're going and doing your meetings, or does it make a difference at all? Like when you're at that table, how do you feel?
I think it does make a difference. I mean, a lot of people use makeup as armor. I don't use it as armor, if you like. But I use it I use it more for confidence. Just it kind of reassures me somehow. And it gives me that kind of innocence that I look okay and I can do it, which is really cool. And it's so important. I mean, when I was at Unilever, I had to do all this kind of like, sort of endless TV production stuff, which were people being beamed around the world. And I wasn't really a natural at having a camera pointed, and you just gave me it was kind of one thing I could just tick off. I didn't need to worry about how I looked, and I could actually really focus on the message that I needed to deliver. And I think that's so important. That in what I do, it's all about the message. It's all about, really how can we, create positive change in the world, particularly at the moment where it's a bit tricky. If I feel confident about the way that I look, then people, I don't have attention on myself. My attention is on delivering the message. And, it's so important at the moment that we focus on positive change and really creating change in the world.
I know, and you're really working hard on that change, and I'm this small person trying to just bring makeup to the forefront and help with that change.
But that's in itself, that is so important, because I think, so much of what's going on, with COVID and with the war is people are deeply lacking in confidence. People have been very lonely, very isolated. I saw some shocking statistics, which is kind of almost like half of people in the UK kind of suffer loneliness at some stage, and I think that people need help, and makeup is such a great way to change the way you feel about yourself. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like full on kind of war paint, just putting a bit of lippy on and just putting a nice kind of tinted, foundation or something on it is going to help you,
100%. I completely believe that. So as your role in climate change and sustainability, so, this is about makeup and stuff, and it's all about, packaging, and, slowly, we are getting to grips. And I'm glad that, the public and the new generation are very much for, climate change and recycling and stuff like that. So is there any insights that you can give for people to, well, what would you want to say to those out there, that may think, oh, I don't have time, or, it's hard work, the simplest way, what can we do,
Yes. Well, I mean, part of me, I don't mean to be the kind of the doomsayer, but if you think it's hard now, it's going to be a lot harder when we're really hit by climate change, and it is coming at us very fast. India and Pakistan have had record temperatures and heat waves. Africa the same. In Western Europe and America at the moment, we're relatively protected, but we're about to go into summer. We've already got very high temperatures and not a lot of rain. So it is actively happening around us. And, whilst governments and businesses need to do a lot, we need to do a lot as consumers as well. One is to really, ask brands, is this recyclable? What do I do with it? Where did this product come from? Is this tested on animals? So really, really get interested and take an active role and understand the brands that you're buying. But B, really do where you can, think responsibly, in the sense that the bathroom is the least recycled room in the household. So kind of really, before you kind of put something in the bin, have a think about it. Look at the packaging. Is it recyclable? Is it not? Really look at kind of the products that you buy. If you're interested in things being cruelty-free, make sure that you're shopping cruelty-free brands. If like plastic packaging, really have a look at the tubes that you're throwing out. Can you refill them? Is there an equivalent, brand that you can use? Can that actually be recycled? Do you need to wash it out and put it in the recycling bin? It's that kind of stuff. To really get interested in things, and also not to buy so much, and really kind of think very carefully about your choices, because I think that's important, because I think we've all been guilty of like buying too many things. But like, kind of, what's your kind of go-to? Like your palette, would last someone for a very long time, and rather than needing 6 or 7, really think about kind of what works for me. It also saves you money, and a lot of people think sustainable living is very expensive. Well, actually, it's not. And then if you have got products you don't want, or haven't used, really do consider kind of donating those. They're something like Jo Jones and her amazing beauty banks. I mean, like, that's extraordinary. There are so many people who can't afford makeup, who really need it, because their lives are, really in turmoil. And, particularly at the moment. So really do think about, like, if you don't want it, or someone gave you something that you don't love anymore, really think about that. And also, I mean, you can sell, beauty products on things like eBay if you don't want them as well. If you want a bit of return on your investment, really think about its whole life. Where did this, how was this product created? Who bought, who birthed it, if you like? And then literally, what's its end of life going to look like? And how am I going to actually dispose of that as responsibly as possible?
That's a great list. Thank you very much. But all your information and detailed places to go and people to look at, it's on your podcast, Start Somewhere, or is that something completely different?
Start Somewhere. There are some really interesting people to listen to on Start Somewhere. I mean, for me, that podcast was really born out of inspiring people to take action. And, while some of the people are famous, some are not. Sorry, my little dog, hello, Safia, was joining in the podcast. Let's say hello, Safia. Let's say hello to Lan and everyone. Hello.
So cute.
Right, he's going to go down now. Sorry, he's sitting on my knee. He's bored. So yes, I would encourage people to listen to Start Somewhere, and it's available on Apple and all the kind of various podcast sites. But it was really that I meet such amazing people, like you, Lan, in my daily life. And I wanted to inspire people, because things can seem, very hard and unachievable. But when you hear from someone who's actually done it, or how they've got to where you think they've got, it's just really inspiring, and hopefully it helps you think, my goodness, like I can do that too. So, I've done kind of themes within the podcast. The next podcast is actually going to be about activism, because I really think at the moment we could all do with a bit of help about how we become more active, because I think a lot of people are feeling very kind of overwhelmed, and actually we need to kind of cross that overwhelm into action. But yeah, there are extraordinary interviews, certainly in my last series, which was around kind of health and beauty. People like, Sian Sutherland talking about plastic pollution, Dr. Shana Swan, who is a leading microplastics expert, who actually has proven that fertility has dropped 50% in the last 50 years as a result of our exposure to microplastics. So if you're planning on having kids, you should really, really listen to that podcast, because it's quite extraordinary, and you should use your and choose your products very carefully. There's plastic hidden in everything, and I think that's super important, and there are also people like the lovely Lily Cole, obviously, that was, the face of the Body Shop. And then, people like Dilys Williams, who is from the London College of Fashion, you're talking about, how to wear fashion sustainably. So it's an amazing podcast journey, just with really interesting people who are living their purpose and are really, doing extraordinary things in the world of sustainability. But, the idea is to inspire, so that everybody listening could kind of take up action and then go and create amazing change in the world too.
What is, over your years of seeing everything from working to the brands to instigating to sustainability, what is the power of makeup to you?
That's such a good question. I think makeup is transformative in every which way, and very visibly so. And I think that's what's so amazing. And it's such a talking point. It's so obvious. It's so clear. And I think, as we did with you at the Body Shop, to create extraordinary looks with colour that most people thought wasn't possible without using animal proteins or colours in some way, was just amazing. And I think it's not just about outer transformation, it's about inner transformation, whether it's about the transformation in the actual product, the packaging becoming more sustainable. We also use community fair trade schemes. So we had kind of amazing women all over the world creating some of those ingredients. But it's what's in the product, but also it's what it does for you within. And I think that is the extraordinary power of makeup. And I don't think there are many other things in this world that actually have that extraordinary power. And it can also do that very quickly, within minutes. It's not like you have to go on a kind of therapy course or something like that. And I think it's astonishing.